So, of course, they can win them all. I just don't know how you can expect them to. So if the question is what went wrong, today it was the defense.
Yeah.
Right? But at times it's been penalties, and it was penalties also yesterday. But at times it's been Mahomes. It wasn't Mahomes yesterday. But, they are good at everything, but never good at everything at the same time. And now they've lost 3 of 4. And if you look at what their defense did, the opening drive, right, they force a turnover. They get a takeaway. They make the big play. It's all right, it's going to be a shootout. You're going to have to do something to disrupt Dallas. In the 7 drives after the takeaway, they force 1 punt, give up 450 yards of offense, get no more takeaways, and allow 9 of 15 conversions on 3rd down. So it's hard for me to get my mouth to say the Chiefs are going to miss the playoffs, Willie, but I really do think the Chiefs are going to miss the playoffs because when you lose to the Jaguars and the Chargers and they just start piling up, it almost doesn't matter that I still think they're good. They have too many losses for it to matter.
Yeah, and it's tough, too, because some of the things they needed to correct that they did yesterday. They went 3 for 3 in the red zone. You talk about Mahomes putting on the cape and scoring 4 touchdowns. You expected his team to come out the building with a W. That didn't happen solely because of how sloppy they played and in certain areas, and also the penalties killed them, right? And that's the bottom line to it. Coach had mentioned it earlier in the show. When you're in a shootout with a team like this, man, you have to be clean, especially in situational football, and they simply weren't. Patrick Mahomes tried his best. This play right here, that's just him holding on to the ball. But there were at times, man, where he's shucking and jiving, and he's completing those throws. It was just inconsistencies at times where they really needed to make it happen, and they just weren't able to. I think the Texans coming up, Greg, maybe made too much of a battle for the Chiefs coming up.
Yeah, Danny, it's okay to just let it roll right off your tongue. The Chiefs are going to miss the postseason this year. Is it strange? Yes. Will it be a little different for us all? Of course. Will Nick be really, really hurt? Yes.
I'm going to FaceTime him later in the show. We'll see if he answers.
Exactly. Look, when you look at this team yesterday, and I'll just talk about yesterday, when your stars don't show up in every moment and you need them to, it's going to be a problem. Rashee Rice with the big drop on 3rd down. Kelsey with another big drop. Coach mentioned it earlier, they've been an average team all season long. We just fall in love with the idea of their resume and what they've done in the past. And if they can get it going, which we all know that, any team can get it going, and if any team can get it going, definitely the Chiefs. But this year, watching that game, the same things are showing up on film. And, Coach, you know this. If we're trying to make a deep run or a run to get in and our backs are against the wall, we almost have to play flawless football. We can't shoot ourselves in the foot. There can't be any friendly fires, and we're seeing that with Trent McDuffie, with the penalties. And again, you can call them ticky-tack or whatever, but we just haven't seen that specifically from him. And so we're seeing things show up on tape and on film that we ordinarily don't see with the Chiefs. And, Coach, this is just not winning football when you need to be playing winning football.
And Patrick Mahomes said it in the press conference, we have to win every game. Yeah, that's true. But you really had to win this game too. And they knew that going into it, and they weren't able to find a way to do it. And even with the victory over the Colts, the thing that surprised me the most about that, so they come back and they've got a chance to win in regulation. They've got it 1st and goal from the 3-yard line, and they get stopped. And they end up going in overtime and winning overtime. That's fine. But traditionally, the Chiefs would have scored in that situation. Then you come to this game, and they're going to bring pressure. They're going to light Dak Prescott up, and they pressure 50% of the time, and they have 0 sacks. Then they need to get the ball back. This is something they've always done. They need to put the ball back in Mahomes' hand, give him a chance to either tie it or win it, and they can't do it. Dallas is able to close it out, and they're able to close it out because of two pass interference penalties. And you can say what you want about the calls, but you do business as business is being done in games. And if a crew is calling it tight, then you've got to lighten up. That's just something that you have to do, and good teams understand that. And that didn't happen. But this has been a problem all season. The drops have been a problem all season. And to your point, Danny, it's fix one thing and something else breaks, which is just not the trademark of this team, this organization, or the thought that they're going to be able to make some kind of run here at the end of the season and then deep into the playoffs.
All right, so let's just do a little impromptu game here. Can we put the schedule up on the screen? Mahomes says we're going to go very quickly. I apologize for putting this on Christina really quickly, but they've got to run the table. I say they are going to miss the playoffs because they're not going to win any tiebreakers. Texans, Chargers, Titans, Broncos, Raiders. Obviously, Raiders are terrible. Titans are terrible. Texans, Chargers, and Broncos are not. I say they're missing the playoffs. Willie, making or missing?
I'm saying making. I think they're going to rally.
Okay, Willie's got them making. Greg?
You know, they're missing.
Missing the playoffs. Coach, missing the playoffs, making the playoffs?
I'm with Greg. They're going to miss the playoffs, and they're going to be so sad about it all offseason because if they got in, they could have made a run.
Wow. All right, so three of us have them missing. You still believe?
Well, I started off on the program early in the season talking about the end of a dynasty. Then I bent the knee and admitted that the Chiefs are back. Now I can't now go back and say they're going to make. I got to. It's just too much flip flopping. I had to stay on one side of the aisle there, Greg.
It's
oh my God.
Hey, I understand. It breaks our brains. I can't believe we're in this situation. It at least breaks my brain. I'm not too proud to admit it. Let's talk about the team that won, that put the Chiefs in this spot. The Dallas Cowboys. They have now in the last 5 days beaten both teams that were in the Super Bowl. The Eagles win with a 21-point comeback, then the shootout win over the Chiefs. This is going to shock you guys, but Jerry Jones was able to find, we did find a microphone. We are not going to play it for you, though. The question is, how scary are the Dallas Cowboys? And I will just say this. They can clearly beat anybody.
Oh, yeah.
They can clearly beat anyone. They have proven that. And the question is going to be, is that going to matter because they can rally and make the playoffs? Or is it, now we're going to play spoiler? Like, they were the team that knocked out the Chiefs. They could be the team that knocked out the Lions next week because they figured this out a little too late, Greg. Like, at least for me. Like, they can run the table, and their schedule's not tough. It's the fourth easiest schedule by strength of schedule. So if they beat the Lions and they run the table, fine. Dallas will certainly make it. But to me, what they have proven is we're good, we're scary, we're dangerous, and we're going to just ruin other teams' seasons, maybe not necessarily be good enough to save their own.
Yeah, look, they definitely are a scary team with all you just mentioned, obviously beating the Eagles on Sunday and what we saw yesterday against the Kansas City Chiefs. Matt Eberflus in this defense, he has to feel really good about what they're putting on tape and what they now have from a personnel standpoint. Still missing some key guys in the secondary, but you mentioned it earlier, Willie, with Overshown being back and having a few games under his belt, he's getting back to form. Obviously, the addition of Quinn Williams and Clark earlier in the season because of the trade of Micah Parsons, all of these things are starting to merge together and look really good when they play in these games late in the season. And that offense, I'm going to tell you right now, as a guy that's been on an offense that's been high-powered, and you have the mentality of no one can stop us, and I know we've seen them sputter in games, but when they look like this, they are a team that can beat and will beat anyone, and they better be glad that they lost. We mentioned this earlier in the show, that Panthers game and specifically that Arizona Cardinals game, because had they not lost that Cardinals game, this is a team that I believe we all would be saying, Willie, they're getting in.
You're right, and I think we're all saying the same thing. The Dallas Cowboys look like a complete team, and I think when you pop on the tape, it looks like Dak and his weapons, right? We were watching this kid that has all these weapons, and he's lighting up the field. But defensively, you know, what's interesting about the Cowboys defensively, they're able to get home with their front four, something they weren't able to do early in the season. They were forced to blitz more. Now that's not going to happen. Now you're seeing Clowney, you're seeing Clark, you're seeing Quentin, you're seeing these guys really condense the pocket and really get after the quarterback, and now it's lighting up with a secondary. So I think when you turn on the tape, the Cowboys just look complete. They look like everything's starting to fire at the right time. And, you know, we just don't know how it's going to pan out. But if you got to go to Detroit with this outfit and the way they played, you got to feel confident.
Coach, what do you think? Do you think that this team can make that run?
I think they're going to win out, and if they win out, they're going to win. That's going to go into the playoffs with 8 straight victories, and I do think we need to give the defense some credit and give Eberflus some credit because he took so many bullets from people. Danny, he took so many bullets in the early part of the season, and they've improved dramatically. Here's a wild stat. They've got 5 number 1 draft picks on the defensive line, which I hadn't really thought about. But not only that, but 4 of those 5 guys were top 3 picks in the draft. I don't know if we can pull up this draft. They were top 3 overall picks in the NFL draft. And as the season goes on, and you have these older guys and they can see the light at the tunnel, they'll pop up. They'll give you that energy that you need because there is a light at the end of the tunnel, or you're into the playoffs, and those guys can make a huge impact. And you saw it yesterday. Clowney had the 2 sacks. Fowler had another sack. They've got a ton of ability on that defensive line, and now with the momentum they have, it's going to be problematic for whoever's in front of them.
Well, so let's put up the playoff picture here. So if Coach is right, let's just play the hypothetical game here. Everyone's nursing hangovers on a Black Friday morning. So if that means that if they go on that win streak and they finish 11-5-1, that clearly gets them in, but it probably will not win their division. So that puts them in the, they'll be the 5 seed, the 6 seed, the 7 seed, somewhere in there. Let's assume that it ends up as like the 6 seed.
Right.
They will be the team that no one wants to play. Like in terms of with how if they've won 8 straight games, including both teams that were in the Super Bowl, with an offense like that, their defense right now is holding teams since the trade deadline to basically 22 points per game, 315 yards of offense. Yeah, that will be the NFC North champ, whether it's Green Bay, Chicago, whomever, or if it ended up being Tampa, no one would want to play Dallas if they actually got in. They'd be scarier than any of those teams on the right side of the screen.
Still wouldn't think Dak is MVP conversation.
Listen, if he does that, if he does that, sure, he'll be in the conversation.
Okay.
He will.
I just want to hear you say it. It feels better when you say it.
Okay. I mean, listen, Greg, I'm not going to say that he's been incredible. I just think if one team has a couple losses and the other is 6-5-1, no one's going to vote for him over Stafford. But if he rallies them into the playoffs, maybe Greg, he will get some consideration.
It makes sense. And with you playing it out like that, if they run the table and they get in, and we know what they did to the Green Bay Packers at home, taking them to the brink.
Yep.
There is not a team in the NFC that they will feel as though they're lesser than. They would be that team that's entering into the playoffs, as I mentioned before, that you shouldn't have let us in because now you got a problem and we're gonna win it all. This is the type of energy that you want to have. This is the type of confidence. This is the type of trend that you want to be moving forward to, Coach. And you can speak to this from a coaching standpoint. You want to catch fire later in the season, but you also want to have a chance to get in, and you don't want to be sitting in this situation. But if you get a chance, this is when you want to catch fire, Coach.
Yeah, they'll be the team that nobody wants to play, and they might be the team that nobody wants to play, and they're not even in the playoffs. But gentlemen, listen, I'm 500 on the year. It's time to get hot. Time for a Black Friday edition of Parkins Picks. I am seeing the NFL very clearly. This is the official pick segment. I plug into the matrix. I see the league clearly. I'm not going to let 3-0 change me. I'm not scared of picking big games. Taking the points with Detroit. Play in the wood with the Chicago Bears. Easy, easier, and easiest. I know that I'm right. So last week was criminal. That is a criminal 1-2 week because I can show you my gambling account, and I had the Patriots minus 5.5 in real life. I had to take 6.5 on the show because I'm a man of integrity, and that's what the spread was at the time we went on the air. What was the final score of the game? They won by 6. The Lions pick was not good. The Rams pick was, of course, excellent. So in my head, that's a 2-1 week. Even though it was 1-2 on the show, 18-18 is truly pathetic. I'm not proud of it. But remember, I went 65% against the spread this year. I'm not going to be a turkey. I'm going to give you a 3-0 weekend coming up. Number one pick. Let's get on the win column today. The Bears +7 in Philly. All this talk about a Black Friday game, about the Eagles and what's going on with them on the offense and dysfunction about that. How about just a simple question of, can the Eagles offense keep up with the Bears offense?
Is that a real question?
Oh, that's a real question, Willie. Better scoring team, better yardage team, better rushing efficiency team. I got a question for you. Which team is the better play caller? Kevin Patullo or Ben Johnson? I think that's pretty clearly in the side of the Monsters of the Midway. 7 points is ridiculous. It's disrespectful. I like the Bears to win outright, but I certainly will take +7. Next up for this weekend, not as sexy of a game, Texans +3.5 at the Colts. A lot of different ways I could highlight this game, Texans defense, but let's just ask, what's happened to the Indianapolis Colts offense? First 9 weeks of the season, they were a juggernaut. First 8 weeks of the season. Weeks 9 through 12, it's fallen off. 10 points per game. The turnovers have gone up. The sacks have gone up. Daniel Jones' efficiency has plummeted, and they have allowed, they're playing a team that has a ton of sacks. But I got a question. Broken fibula? Look at Daniel Jones walking right here. That is his practice video. I don't know. Does that look like a guy who's about to run away from Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter? Not to me. I think the Texans can win that game outright. Love them +3 and the hook. Final one. Sorry, Willie Colon. The Buffalo Bills. I'll lay the points in Pittsburgh. I still think these teams are in a different class. Buffalo -3.5 in Pittsburgh. Buffalo has been inconsistent this year, undeniable. Their best is best. The Steelers have also been fairly inconsistent, but Buffalo coming off that loss to Houston with extra rest, when Josh Allen has had extra rest, 10 or more days, so coming off a bye week or coming off of a Thursday game, they bludgeon people. They scored 38 points. They blow you out by about 26 per game, and Josh Allen doesn't turn the ball over. So if they score 38, I think that'll be enough to cover the 3.5. Bears plus the points, Texans plus the points. I'll lay it with the Bills in Pittsburgh. Willie Colon, don't judge a man in a cape with some bling and a turkey on his head.
Yeah.
That's a 3-0 week.
I think the best part of your outfit is definitely the turkey on your head. If we just
Thank
have to
you.
point that out.
Thank
No, listen, I really see the Eagles getting after the Bears. They had a heartbreaking loss to the Cowboys. You have to think they're going to rally and respond better, especially in the run game. Saquon was shut down, only down in the second half of that Dallas game. He only had 22 yards. That's not what they want. That's not where they want to live. So I think the Eagles are going to have a big game against the Bears.
All right, you could be wrong. Coach, perfect 3-0 week. I agree. Yes?
Well, coming off a perfect 3-0 yesterday by myself,
That's right.
I'd say that this is a pretty good round of picks. I like the Bears as well, but that may be a little bit more of a heart pick for me. I'm hoping that they can show that they can compete with the big boys. In terms of Houston, 23 points may be too much. I know it's not as much as Indianapolis was scoring, but 23 may be too much for them to match. And the Bills pick, I'm with you on that too. I like all three. I'm probably most questionable about the Texans pick.
Greg, would you like to borrow my turkey, and how do you feel my picks are?
Well, I don't need to borrow the turkey.
Okay.
I don't mind the picks, and I do want to highlight, obviously, the Texans and Colts. Like, the Colts, you showed the footage of Daniel Jones. They better get Jonathan Taylor back rolling, because that's going to support what they've been all season offensively. Your Bears pick, though, like, I'm kind of with I just believe that the Eagles are going to bounce back. But we will see. We always check mark games that will solidify whether a team is legitimate or not. And this is one of those games that if the Bears show up, even if in a loss, how they lose, it will matter moving forward for them.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.